Hey everyone, it's me Holly, welcome back or welcome to my channel if you're new around here. Hi, I'm Holly and I post lifestyle and school related content. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you how to effectively revise for exams. Now this isn't just like GCSE exams, this can be applicable to any type of exam that you are doing, whether it's just a test in the middle of term 2 or your actual big GCSE exams. I'm currently in year 12, so I sat my GCSEs this year around May to June time, and this stuff helped me to get grades from 5 to 9. I got a 9 in GCSE RE. I got quite a variety of results. So the first piece of advice I will give is to use past papers. This is going to help you so much because past papers are your way to kind of have an insight onto what the exam would look like. Past papers are your only way to actually apply your knowledge in an exam setting because it was made for an exam. You know, whether you're doing quizzes or questions that your teacher made up, none of these are actually what the exam board have given you. However, a past paper is something that, it will be like that for your exam. So you want to be revising using them as well as other things, but definitely trying to get to grips with what an exam would look like. Another really good way to revise is to use websites which are very specific in a type of area. So for instance, there might be a maths website which has loads of quizzes for loads of maths questions, or a science website which has loads of science questions, because that website, those people know what you need to know, and it has very specific questions for what you're learning. And normally these websites do cut it down into different topics, so you can find quite easily what you are looking for. For my science, I was really struggling with science throughout year 9 to year 10, and in year 11 I thought it's time I really bring this around and try to get a good grade. And what I did was, as well as using a couple of past papers, I also went onto a website called Cognito. I definitely recommend it if you've got exams coming up soon, so if you're in year 11, but also if you're just in a younger year and you're really struggling or falling behind in your class, it's a really good way to update your knowledge to kind of get you up there with everyone else. So on the website there are loads of different questions and some videos that are really short for you to kind of get a burst of information and help you to apply it into the questions it's given you. I found this useful because I genuinely couldn't sit myself through a 10-minute video explaining photosynthesis to me. These videos are about 4 minutes long at max, so you get all the information cut down and simplified with little graphics on the screen, and I just found them the most useful they could, and I ended up getting a 7.7, which translated into, letters is an AA. So kind of pleased with that. Another way I used when I was in year 7 to year 9 was flashcards. That is how I would process all my information for exams I had, or little tests like midweek exams, you know what I mean? So yeah, what I would do, I actually have some flashcards to show you. There are some actually flashcards in here which I used for my exams, my GCSE exams, but I mainly used flashcards when I was doing smaller tests, because I don't think I would have been able to write up every single GCSE topic, onto these cards. Okay, so how you use a flashcard is you put what you're, asking yourself. So either a question like, what is homeostasis, or just the name if you kind of know what you're going to ask yourself. And then on the back of the flashcard, you will have every little bit of information. And the good thing about a flashcard is it's a small sheet of paper. So you're going to have to condense your notes, which is so useful. Having shorter notes is going to help it go into your head a lot better. So yeah, that's why I love flashcards. All the information I needed, and I would go through and sit on my bedroom floor with about 10 of these flashcards. As you can see here, I got loads of them all sat in front of me. And then when I'd do one and I got it right, I'd put it in a correct pile, which I wasn't going to go back to till the end. If I got one wrong or slightly wrong, I'd put it into a retry pile. And then once I'd gone through all of them, I would pick up the retry pile and I'd do them all again, and hopefully this time, I would get more into the completed pile. And then after all of that, I'll just do it one more time, or just do it like about 10-15 minutes later, do them all again and hope that, I got them all correct. It's also a good way to kind of check yourself and check what you actually know, because obviously to write these up, you're using your notes and stuff you're doing in class, or things on like BBC Bitesize, any website. And then obviously when you're writing it down, you might not have taken it in that much. So obviously going through them is going to help you to restore that knowledge. Another really good way is questions. Now, this doesn't have to be exam questions. This is just questions that will help you with your knowledge. I'll put one on the screen here because I have some in my Word documents. So yeah, beside me, I'm going to put an example of what I did. So I would choose a topic. For instance, let's just say the long telegram in history. So that's something in Cold War. If you don't know what it is, it's fine. It's just kind of an example of a topic in my Cold War history lesson. Find a topic that I needed to revise, and then I would go online and search on BBC Bitesize history, have a look on the Cold War and find the topic I was doing, or look into a textbook and find the topic I was doing. Then I'd read through it all, and kind of using my own mind, I would come up with questions to ask myself. So as I'm reading through the textbook, it might say the long telegram was sent out in 1946. So I'd think to myself, that's a piece of information I'll need to know. So I would go onto a Word document and I'd type up, questions, and then I'd do my first question as, when was the long telegram sent out? I'd write the answer on another, I would get the other half of the Word document, so on the other side of the sheet of paper, and I'd write the answers. But then I'd go back to the questions that I was asking myself, and I'd read through more, and I'd see, George Kennan sent out the long telegram. So I'd be like, okay, that's a question I need to know. Let me write it in. So I'd be like, who sent out the long telegram? A lot of revision and a lot of notes should be created before you want to use them. Obviously, with like quizzes and stuff, you have to do it in the moment. But with flashcards, you could decide one day, okay, I have my test on Monday, I will make the flashcards on Friday after school, and then I'll practice them Saturday and Sunday, and then on Monday I should be ready. You know what I mean? During my lunchtime at school, I would create these quizzes for myself, and then I would go home, and over a couple of days, I would, ask myself these questions, because over time I'll probably forget what the actual answer was, so it's good for me to kind of review my knowledge. Okay, so I'm now going to tell you how to organize your revision, because I'd say this is pretty important, because it kind of helps you to kind of prepare yourself to actually do the revision, which is obviously the most important part, but actually having it ready and knowing what to prioritize and when's the best time to do it will really help you to actually get on and do it. First thing I'm going to say is how to prioritize a subject. So obviously you know what your strengths and weaknesses are, but maybe you don't know where other subjects fall. So maybe you're really bad at maths, you're really good at science, but you don't really know where history or geography comes on that list. The best way to kind of know what to prioritize is to do a kind of rag sheet. I think this is what my school called it, but basically what it is, it's like red, amber, green. So it's kind of, you need to list out every single subject that you do. So for me, I had about 7 or 8 subjects I had. So I'd list them all out. Then beside each subject, I would cut it down into different topics. So for example, science, there was biology 1, biology 2, biology 3. Once I'd written out every single subtopic of the subjects, I would go through and, for example, first I have maths, algebra. I'll be like, can I do algebra? If someone was to ask me to do it right now, I'd be able to do it. I could explain it to them. I could do it easily. If you can, you do it as a green. You're like, yes, I can. So you highlight it or do a little circle in green. If you're like, I'm unsure, but I feel like if I did just a little bit more revising, I'd probably get there, do it in amber, because it kind of shows like, you know what it is, but it's like still, I don't know, you're in between. If you're like, absolutely not, I don't even know what that is, or I can't even possibly think about how to do that, put it as a red, because you know that's something you need to prioritize for every single topic in every single subject that you have. And then once you've, ragged it all, you'll have some reds, you'll have some greens. Like, not everyone is strong in everything, so you've got, like, you don't feel guilt trip yourself into putting everything green because you're like, I'm sure I can do it. If you are definitely unsure, or like you're doing this for yourself, so actually try and do this as honest as you can. It's going to help you so much with actually creating a revision timetable. And once you've got, all your reds, all your ambers, all your greens, it's all done. What you want to do is then list where things come on, so first of all, maybe put the subject with the most reds. So you'll put that as number one priority. For me, that was science. I had pretty much half of them in reds, so I was like, definitely science is the one I need to revise the most. And then, maybe there's another one with 7 out of 10 reds, a couple of ambers, and like 1 green. Pop that below it. And then there's one with about 6 reds, and then keep putting the subjects into order of like how many reds there are. And then as soon as you get to the ones that are kind of like amber green, think to yourself, which one should I put now? And then leave your favorite subject till last, because if you enjoy it, then you're going to be good at it, and it will be easy for you to do a subject that you love. It's easy for you to revise that because you love it. You'll have the motivation to do it because you love it. But in all fairness, it's something that you should probably just put to the back, because even though you'll probably enjoy that way more than doing science, for instance, it's just not going to help you. It's not going to help you learn for any of those other subjects, because once you've done that, you're probably like, oh, I've done my revision for today, but really you already kind of knew that. So once you've put them in, list of what one's the most important to you to revise, you then want to be creating a revision timetable. However, I will say this as kind of like you don't really have to, but I'll explain it. Okay, so you obviously want to be preparing yourself for what you want to do each week. So for me, I created a revision timetable from, I think it was about April till June, and June was my final lot of exams. So obviously this is mainly aimed at like year 11s doing exams, because unless you're actually got a whole set of, because I know some other like younger years do a lot of exams in 1 week. So if this is useful to you, then I go ahead and listen. But this is mainly aimed towards like year 11s going into their exam season. So yeah, what you want to do is to kind of make a timetable of what you want to do each week, including like school weeks and stuff like that. So for me, I got on a Word document and I made a timetable, like a little table, and I put every day of the week, and then I would like fill in, like I'd block things out if I'm busy, and then I would see where the gaps are. So for instance, Monday I might have had, this isn't true, but imagine I did swimming lessons and I wasn't available for like 2 hours after school. I would block it out, and then I'd have like maybe 2 more slots at the end of the day, like between 6 to 7 and 8 to 9. But then on a Tuesday I might be free like from 4 till 9, because obviously I wanted to cut off my exam revision at about 9ish, because I wanted to actually relax. So what you want to do is to kind of block out when you're busy, and obviously give yourself breaks as well. So obviously, make sure that if it's possible, have like an hour break maybe, or to do, if you want to be more precise, do like a more detailed revision timetable, but have like 10-minute breaks in between, or 30-minute breaks, etc. Yeah, and then obviously write in every single subject, but starting with the one that you've put at the top of the priority list. So for me, it was science that I really needed to get done. So I would each day have at least one science topic, and then fill in the others with, for instance, if like, what was underneath. If history was underneath science on my priority list, I would put history, science and history on the Monday after I'd had swimming or whatever. I don't do swimming, but you know what I mean. And then on a Tuesday, I would have, like, say there was 4 slots. I would do, like, science and then maybe English, maths, and then history as well. You know what I mean? Like, for me, though, I didn't particularly stick to this timetable. I found it more useful to do kind of one at the beginning of the week or the beginning of the day. So for instance, on a weekend, I love to do, like, you know, on the Saturday morning or the Friday evening, I would write up what I wanted to do that weekend. So I'd be like, I really want to get done some science, I want to get done some history, and I want to get done some English. And then on the Saturday, I would do as much as that as I could, and then if I didn't complete it, I'd do some more on the Sunday. But yeah, you always want to be preparing yourself for your revision. You don't want to just wake up one day and think, am I going to do it? Am I not? Always give yourself a task to do and say try and say to yourself, you have to do this science revision, you have to do maths revision, like put that in place to kind of make yourself feel like you have to. But obviously some days you don't feel too great, or you're allowed to give yourself breaks though. Like maybe on Saturday, after feeling so productive on the Friday, you've made your lovely to-do list, but then on the Saturday you wake up and you just feel unmotivated, and your brain is just physically not allowing you to do that revision. Don't force yourself to do anything, because if in your head you're like, I cannot do this, I don't want to do it, not today, and you sit down on your desk trying to do it, likelihood is it's not going to go into your head, and you're going to make more of an issue for yourself trying to do it, because might confuse yourself, or you might just zone out and waste about an hour of your day, which you could have been spent maybe focusing on yourself and preparing yourself for the revision later on. And the most important thing, I think, is to kind of find motivation somewhere. So for instance, maybe you've watched shows like Gilmore Girls, which really romanticizes studying. I wish I watched that in my exam period, because I would have had so much motivation to revise. Like, honestly, I think it's a perfect show to kind of give you that oomph to actually get your work done. But also YouTubers that do study videos, I try to do an occasional study with me to kind of get people into the motivation to actually do their revision. But it also helped me to actually do my revision, because, you know, and even if you don't have a YouTube channel and you don't have anyone that's going to watch your video, maybe time-lapse on your phone, you revising, because you'll look back at it and you'll know while you're revising, oh my god, I'm going to get to see this all at the end once I'm finished. And you're like going to want to complete your work and then see the finished product of this really beautiful time-lapse of you doing your work. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely romanticize it. You know, get yourself a nice hot chocolate. Maybe study with your friends. However, me, Amy, and Paris did try this, and we did not really study with. We barely did anything. We just laughed the whole time. But yeah, if you have friends that are very, you know, we're gonna get it done, very strict subject, you're gonna find your own personal way to revise. You know, everyone learns and takes information in different ways. Like, you know, for me, if someone overloads me with information, I'm not going to remember it. But if I'm there, you know, actively recalling the information, I'm going to remember it a lot more and a lot more easier doing like quizzes or flashcards, because I'm processing it myself and also reading it. So yeah, everyone revising in different ways, but I would definitely recommend everyone to try doing some past papers or past questions, because it's literally the best way to do it. It helps you to understand the layout of questions. It's just the best, because, you know, you can see what it's going to look like when you open that paper. You know what I mean? Even if it's not the same questions. And also, like, asking teachers for help is so important, because if you don't get something and you're trying to do it in your own time and it's just not working, go and talk to them, because that's what they're there for, you know? They probably will be more glad you came and asked them than, you know, do the test and kind of seem like you're not interested and don't really care for their subject, because obviously they've spent their time teaching you, and if you do the test and you get what they deem to be not acceptable grade or work, like, you know what I mean, like, every teacher is different. Some teachers are really strict with how well they want you to do and some aren't, but like, maybe if the teacher sees that you haven't done that well and it's just like, oh, they clearly aren't listening, if you've gone and asked them for help, they're going to know that you're struggling, and they'll be more inclined to kind of help you and go through the paper. And maybe if you get your results back, if it's like a mock test or just any test really, if you get your paper back and you kind of see what you got and you're like, it's not bad, but I kind of want to improve it next time, you can go and ask your teacher to find ways to use your work and kind of improve it. If you've got a test coming up, I wish you the best of luck. Hopefully people can use this video whenever they need it. I'm posting it like now because, you know, people have exams in January and random times of the year, I don't know, but if you need this video, great. If you did enjoy and I found this useful, please do consider subscribing, because I post loads of school videos. Like, I'm planning to do loads of weekly vlogs and all fun stuff. And I'm actually in sick form now, so hopefully I have better vlogs. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.